So I think I'll start with probably a difficult question, right? Tata CLiQ is actually, the first online, 100% online business for Tata Group. And we all know, Tata Group runs some of the largest businesses in this part of the country, not only country, but the world. And it's all brick and mortar businesses. So for you, you think, we're talking about relationship building and customer experience on an online platform. So, what are the challenges you think you have kind of seen being an 100% online? But I also want to see the other side of the coin, which is what advantages do you think you have versus, let's say, a business which is trying to now move to an online business?
Sure, Ratnesh. Yeah. So first, I'll cover the first part of your question. What are the challenges that we have as an e-commerce player in a country which is flooded with a lot of players, a lot of option for consumers? See, first and foremost is the cost of switch is very, very less. It's just about adding another tab on your browser, and the customer can go to the next platform to see what product is available to be able to buy. And hence the importance of you knowing the consumer really, really well, and be able to consistently provide experience which is better than what she expects when she lands on your platform. And that is sort of both a challenge as well as an opportunity, because you could be the tab that the customer could open because of a bad experience she has had with somebody else, and also because of various good things that you're doing in various aspects. So this is both as a challenge as an opportunity being in e-commerce place. For us, at least, Ratnesh, the way we see it today, with the whole pandemic situation, it's a big boon and advantage to be in the space where consumers are moving towards online way of transacting e-commerce, whether it is commerce, whether it is bill payment, fintech, all of it is happening on the online world. For us, it is how do you build scale? How do you build credibility? How do you define journeys which are accustomed or segmented to different types of consumers? How you cater to somebody who is well versed with an e-commerce platform, e-commerce transaction, vis-a-vis somebody whom you're recruiting for the first time, coming to your platform, coming to any platform for that matter. The challenges around how do you differentiate between these two different or two, three, four different segments of consumers, and be able to provide experience which ensures that they keep coming back to you, provide them with a reason, and also build journey which is highly personalized to the set of people who come on the platform. So both it is a challenge as well as an opportunity. Challenge is where customers can move out if it is not a great experience, and huge opportunity with everything moving online. It has been a fairly easier journey for us. We had the love of customers coming in, and the pace at which we have grown is far outpaced what we had budgeted for, and we continue to see that growth. So
Wow, that's really great. So I think you pointed out to some couple of very important points, but one of the things which I think very critical is the data, right? When you're on online, what you have an access to, and that's an advantage, is so much data which a user or a customer generates, right? How do you leverage data when you're trying to build a value for your customers, or even for your business, when you said running very profitably, running very well. How do you use data both for your business to run it profitably, can generate more profits, as well as providing value to a customer?
yeah, so data for us is absolutely essential and is the core of what we are trying to build. It is so ingrained in what we are trying to build. It is our number one cultural pillar, which we call it as customer and data obsession. Whether we are hiring for a data scientist or a creative director, the need for an individual to understand, appreciate the importance of data, and how do you structure this, how do you use the data points and derive insights out of it, and be able to improve the journey, improve efficiency, provide opportunity for growth. And we do it at various stages. So if you, just to give you a sort of shift that we have seen in general across the industries is moving from very explicit data collection about knowing what customer wants, which is how in those days it used to be very survey led. You will ask customers question whether it is an online world or offline world, and check whether they are, and then there will be a small set of customers who respond to those surveys, and you come to know what is working, what is not working. And in those scenarios also, you are still double guessing what is the underlying reason why somebody is happy, unhappy. NPS is a great tool to know whether somebody is, and it's from that era where it's a great tool to let you know that what you are doing is really adding value to customer, but you don't know where to focus on. From there to today, we don't have to be sort of so explicit in asking customers about anything. I already know. We know, and that's the beauty of data. We know how customers are interacting with every single step of your online journey, how they come in, what time they spend on homepage, what time they spend on PDPs or product description pages, listing pages, how much time did they take to check out, where did they drop off, what percentage of customer are dropping off at what part of the journey, which is an input metric which we keep a very very tight watch on, and that helps us in telling us whether the customers are happy or unhappy. So how we see it is NPS or some of these experience metrics are very outcome focused. Try and bring in a lot of input which highly correlates with the output metric or outcome metrics is how we look at data points. And we have coined few really sort of interesting, we call it as perfect order, perfect return. It sort of breaks down every single transaction into minor and minute smaller chunks. What it does is you have a focus on 100% of all customers rather than being dependent on only survey and survey respondents, etc. Second, big benefit that we derive out of this is every single function in the organization plays a role in somewhat the other part of it, which essentially in the old world way of doing things, it a department or a siloed function which sort of takes care of responsibility. So today it is finance is as much responsible for customer experience. We sort of go and check what is the speed of integration that our financial systems have with banking, whether it is near real time, what are the trigger points, what are the different ways in which it is integrated, whether you are tuned for UPI based refund, even if the incoming payment was credit card. So that is how we use data across every single part of the journey, focusing on input, which means 100% of every transaction the customer has on a platform, whether at the time of browsing or post purchase, and then assess how they are doing. So, and we know for a sure, and we know for sure by our past data analysis, somebody who's gone through what we call as a perfect order has almost like about 3x in terms of NPS in comparison to somebody who's not gone through. So outcome is directly, we have a linkage with input metrics. All of this works with data. And how we went about this whole process is first and foremost is top down, everybody believing in data is what going to differentiate us, which is where we added as a part of our cultural pillar. Any individual whom we bring on board onto the organization, this is one of the key cultural pillar we evaluate. That is the starting point. We know the importance. Then what we did, we defined that what are the different data that we required for different parts of businesses, and very clearly articulating what those data points are. Moving from data, then definition of metrics, so that so for data we build all the starting with data warehouse, moving into data lake, and very close to sort of building CDP as well. So and just at the beginning of this session, I saw this video on CDP as well. So we are almost there. Though I know that it's a product, we are building the product, and we understand the importance of it. So it is about understanding the importance of data and collection points. We have created a common platform wherein the collection happens. From there, we move to the next level, which is moving into metrics. Using data to have very clearly sharp output and outcome focused metrics. From metrics, we have now created insights, wherein rather than looking at metrics, we have defined rules, automation, segments, capabilities to start sharing insights rather than I myself try derive what the data means. We have sort of built capability to cull out insights. Next step, we've just started. We started in the last 6 to 12 months back, which is about building data products based on insights. So, which is our whole personalization engine is sitting on top of all the data plus metric plus insight coming together and using that information back to be able to define journeys for customers. So now we have just started the journey in the last 12 months about building data products, and we are building various parts of the business, whether it is on customer journey or it is about supply chain or optimization. So which logistic partner to choose for what, a combination of pin codes, which store to allocate a particular order to, depending on the probability of order getting fulfilled. All of it is based on data.
Absolutely great. You're very right. You mentioned, a couple of things. One was that whole departmentals. It's no longer, one function which is responsible for the customer experience. And I stepped down the culture. You spoke about the culture. And I think right through the theme, I think we heard Shalini, we also heard about Santa talking about people. So how do you take, people and in terms of the learnings which, the customers, and customers always teach you something, right? They always that's a learning bank which never stops. How do you get your people to imbibe, to learn from interactions with the customers? What are the key takeaways? How do you bring that learning back into, your processes?
Yeah. So we do this like we have a very structured and a very process driven way of ensuring that we are very close to customers. And very close to customers is how every single individual employee is directly connected with customer. Not just get lost in the multitude of data that is is visible and available to you. What we do is we have it by function. What we call it is deep RCAs. Every sort of function we break it down. It's about 15-20 functions in the company. We do at least anything between 2 to 5 RCAs. So what these RCAs essentially mean is something that has gone wrong for the customer. It starts with very deep interview with the customer itself, understanding their insights, point, what went right, what went wrong, where all we went wrong, and then coming back and working with multiple function and going really deep on what is the root cause of that, and then adding it to product backlog, roadmap, process changes, system changes, in certain cases even policy changes, whether it is return policy which is impacting customer. And this is in every single function. It's a part of what we do, to the extent even our HR department does RCA, and this RCA is about we took longer than we should have to onboard a candidate, and we go deep. What happened? Was it that I did not spend enough time? And we have a very detailed interview with the candidate who we wanted to get on board. So, and that's the culture part, and that's the human element, which is bringing in human insight into how we do and what we do. Other than that, there are like a lot of very technology driven, but keeping ourselves very close to customer. We call it something called as pensive. This we coined it from Harry Potter, where anybody in the company can sort of log in and listen to customer calls and customer emails. They can read through, they can go through the customer chat. This is to have a realistic expectation and appreciation of what is happening, what is good, what is not good, and way of be able to track it. This is second. Then we have certain reviews. We start with customer calls. So before we start the review, we listen to a call so that we all know whom we are here working for. What is it that what we are doing which is working and not working? And that sort of helps us in sort of setting the right context and ensuring that we bring the human element in every single aspect. And then apart from that, we have created a few within the customer experience function, research lab, where they bring customers on board, and we have deep FGDs, etc. So there are multiple things that we do to always stay grounded and bring in as much of human element in whatever that we do. So and also these are also there's something that we call as a part of policy. Say you, no matter how well you define, there is another, it's a tenet in our customer experience or customer service function. When in doubt, err in side of customers. So these are some of those tiebreakers, and it is written in every single product note. So you're not sure whether it is the right or wrong. Err on the side of customer, we'll figure it out later if the percentage contribution is high, etc. So those are some of the human elements we bring in, even though we are highly data obsessed organization.
Oh, I totally agree. I think relationship means you need a person on the other hand, you need a human touch on the other hand. You mentioned about CDP, you mentioned about certain technologies, and I think we're seeing a spurt of marketing technologies, martechs, which is basically helping today in terms of every interaction, every step of a customer engagement. What's your views on some of the key things or key technologies you see today helping customer experience go to that next level or next leap in terms of your organization?
If you ask me, there is actually no limit at all in terms of use of martech. It's a very very vast. So in fact, we were reviewing the roadmap for some of the martech products. We have very clear visibility for next 24 months, and so much for us to build. Just to give an example, if you and me go to the platform and search for red shirt, both of us mean very very different things. I know that what is your brand preference. I already know you have already browsed on the platform. I know what is the price range in which you have bought, which is the type of product, whether you prefer to wear half arm shirts or full arm shirts. All of this is an information. I need not give same result if some two customers coming onto the platform and typing red shirt. So it starts from there, and then you can imagine the kind of differentiation that we can build. Very basic steps we did is during the whole lockdown, Chennai was open. A lot of products could be sold, and there was supply chain that was operational for non-essentials as well. But for Maharashtra, it was all closed. So if you were a Maharashtra customer, you come onto the platform, you will see on the homepage only essential items that are listed on the platform. But if you are from Chennai, you will see very, very different homepage or product link. These are just the start. We believe in terms of engagement, in terms of conversion, CTR, stickiness of the customer, and the revenue potential that it lies, it is anywhere between 25 to about can even go to 70% plus, depending on how well you sort of charter this journey. Even today, martech product, like for example recommendation, if you are looking for product A, I know that what other products which are very closely associated with that, that solution alone contributes to more than 30-40% of the overall business. And we are still very very young, and I can imagine if you sort of grow and you become a fairly large in terms of size and scale, the contribution from martech in terms of defining and personalizing consumer journeys and be able to customize every single offering becomes highly highly relevant. And like even today we do, the notification that I send you is very different from what I send to somebody else. It's not and we are able to break it down. Still it is at a cohort level, but the number of cohort is like in hundreds, very different from earlier world. A few 5 or 6 segments. Now we have gone to 100 plus, and we think that n equal to 1, it's not too far away. In certain cases, is already happening. All of this is powered through martech products, and the backbone is building CDP or your clean data, which helps us sort of build this.
Sure. Thank you so much, Harma. I think we can go on and on. I think your pearls of wisdoms will keep on, enthralling the audiences, but, just for the time. Thank you so much for, coming here, sharing these very, very valuable insights into, how to run. And once again, wishing you all the best. I believe Tara, this is just the start, and we're going to see much, much more broader activities and business scale at which Tata is known at on Tata CLiQ. So thank you so much once again.
My
Back to
pleasure.
you, Christian.
Thank you so much.